Nice to meet you.
Melinda Tarsi, nice to meet you.
Gordon Andrews.
Mel Conroy, nice to meet you.
Bill McAvoy.
And I am Kendra.
Nice to meet you.
Just Kendra. Just Trick, just Kendra.
So the Finance Committee meets Monday nights, normally the second and the fourth Monday of the month from after town meeting until November-ish time frame. Then we change up the schedule a little bit, probably meet once in December. And then we meet every Monday at 7 o'clock from the first week in January until May, second week in May. So each person that's on the Finance Committee is given department heads to talk with. It's your responsibility on the Finance Committee to go and meet with the department heads and find out what their budget includes. The meeting that we have in November, we have with the selectmen, talk about what we see for the upcoming fiscal year as far as what we have for expected revenue, what we have for upcoming projects that we know about. There's a capital plan that's in place that's been worked on. Bill's the liaison from Finance Committee on that, and they've worked on an Excel spreadsheet over the last year or two where all the data is being entered into. Sandy and Kim are very much involved on that board as members. Charlie's the town administrator in the back. I'm not sure if you met him before.
I did last week.
I'm one of the selectmen.
How you doing?
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
So basically, it's a large commitment of time. And whereas I'm running for the elementary school, and there's possibly some other changes, it'll be important if you get on that you attend the meetings and go.
Sure.
So the overview of the fiscal budget is each year after town meeting, the voters decide how much money they're going to spend. The town assessors will determine how much the total town value is. They divide out the total town value by the money spent. You send out the certified, what do we call that to the state? Certified thing in September. Tax rate. Recap sheet. And that's certified by the state. That's what sets the tax rate. Then the tax collector and treasurer, Pam in the back, she'll send out all the tax bills, and there's 2 bills a year, so it's due November 1st and May 1st, and it's all determined by what happens at town meeting.
Okay.
Have you attended town meeting in Halifax before?
No, I've not.
Okay. Have you worked on any other boards or volunteered in town for
Within this
within the town?
no.
Okay.
How about other towns? Have you?
I mean, I've been involved, but not to this level of like on a committee, to be honest with you. This is why I was interested to get more involved after just talking to people in town. People said this could be a good fit for you given your background, so that's sort of why I'm here.
Great.
So we have another board as well, the capital plan, which is where we've been having people start off before they get on the finance committee, is to get an overview of the town and what the capital needs are, so it's not as involved. So when you meet, because you have to meet with the selectmen as well, so they'll have an overview of what positions are available and see where they think you fit, as well as the members of the finance committee.
Okay.
Time-wise, do Mondays work for you?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Do you have any restrictions, like travel for work or anything that would preclude you from making regular attendance?
Yeah, I mean, I travel to downtown Boston quite frequently.
Yeah.
Mondays are pretty open
Yeah.
now, usually. So
No, some people are forced to travel for work out of town that,
yeah. I mean,
for
that
their jobs.
that does happen, but not
not
too
regularly.
frequently. No.
Okay.
You guys have any?
How long have you been in town, Ken?
My family moved to Halifax in 2006. So intermittently, I went to college in New Hampshire, but since then I've been a permanent resident of Halifax. Went to Silver Lake High School. First job was at Halifax Country Club. So I do consider myself a local, but I just, like I said, my initial outreach was this, wanted to get more involved locally, haven't been on like a town board or anything like that. So a lot of folks told me look in a finance committee or something like that as you try to cut your teeth, figure it out locally. I feel like I could bring level of skills or assets or input that could be beneficial to the town as well.
Okay.
So,
And what would those assets and skills be?
I mean, I've interfaced with budgets, larger state budgets. I worked up in New Hampshire in politics for a while, so I'm used to a budget process in general. I currently work for the Alzheimer's Association in Massachusetts, which we track budget items closely as well. So I feel like I have that experience of following a budget process and really honing in on that. I don't know if it's directly translatable in terms of executing budget decisions, but I think it could be translatable in that sense.
Okay.
Yeah, and ultimately, we don't make the decisions. It's up to the voters of the town of Halifax to make the decision. We're only making recommendations. The warrant
Sure.
that goes out every year is just the information that we've gathered from the other departments and have tried to present to the town what we as a group feel works best for the town.
Sure.
So that's the finance committee's responsibility, is to present a balanced budget recommendation to town meeting.
Yep.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions?
In what capacity was your political involvement in New Hampshire?
My political involvement.
In New Hampshire?
I worked in the New Hampshire State Senate as an intern and an aide. I also worked for a government affairs firm up there as well, representing a myriad of clients in New Hampshire.
Okay. What drove the discussions recently that caused you to look into joining a committee in Halifax?
Sorry,
What was the impetus for the discussions you've had with the folks in town that drove you to look into joining a committee?
To be frank with you, I had certain neighbors and stuff who were concerned about projects, and they were getting more involved. Was down on River Street. So I was just thinking to myself, I was like, I feel like I should be more involved in the town and see what's going on. That's really what brought me here.
Are you a friend of Len's?
Yes.
You're a friend of mine.
So I wasn't fully prepared for this entire city. I didn't realize this was like a full-on interview. But I'm ready for the questions.
You'll meet with us.
Yeah, the selectmen will probably
This
have
is only a
more,
warm-up.
Yeah.
more questions for you. This is really just to give you an idea of what the responsibilities are.
Sure.
And the term that we have open is a 3-year term right now, but there'll be a 2-year.
30 years.
There'll be a 2-year term opening up shortly.
So I guess I'll be honest about, I wasn't necessarily married to finance committee. I just heard here's one option. When I presented that sheet, I left it pretty open. If you guys think I'm better suited for something else, I'm open to it. This work sounds intriguing to me regardless, so
Okay.
just figured I'd be open about that.
Okay.
I mean, I think, certainly we always have openings on different boards and committees. I don't want to interrupt, because eventually you're
Go
going
ahead.
to meet with us, but, it depends on what your interest is. Certainly, this is a great way of learning about finances of the town. Obviously, you know that we can't deficit spend, so whatever funds we raise is what we have to use for our operation and also for our debt exclusions. Besides finance, another position that sort of is an overview of the entire town is the Wage and Personnel Board, which is, it's a board that sort of keeps the bylaw in place for non-union employees, like wages and different policies and all those kinds of things. Warren mentioned that we have a capital planning committee that what we kind of wanted to do, although, you're very qualified, is to sort of feed, like Len just came on capital planning and he's been such a great help. We also have ad hoc committees, so Len is also serving with Linda on the fire study committee, so we're looking at perhaps providing a service to the town of Plimpton for fire and ambulance is sort of a new thing. Nothing's really been done like this in the state, and so we're thinking about joining forces. So that's been a really exciting thing to be a part of. So certainly you learn a lot, and as Gordon said, that when you're a member of the Finance Committee, you have different liaisons, and so the point of a liaison is to go visit different department heads and get a feel of what their real needs are. So by the time budget season comes, you're not surprised by anything that's within the budget, because you would have already had that conversation saying, you know, for instance, if you were the liaison to the school committee and you've attended a couple of school committee meetings and you've heard that frameworks are changing, then when the budget comes out and you see new books, you know that you've expected that because you know that the frameworks have been changed. So, you know, it's really whatever your comfort is.
Sure. Okay, do you have any questions for us? Kind of gave an overview.
So I guess what's the process moving forward in terms of?
So the selectmen will probably reach out and set up an appointment with you to come in on their meeting night, talk about what the openings are, and see, if you want to work on the different boards that are open and see which ones line up with your commitment, availability, and what they think lines up with your talents.
Okay.
So, finance is just one, wage and personnel, capital plan.
Yeah.
There's a number of spots.
I think we definitely have a need here. We're going to be down to 4 members on May 14th. So certainly if you're interested in this, it depends on, your time commitment. We talk about it being weekly on Mondays, but sometimes it's Mondays and Wednesdays.
Sure.
Or other nights.
Or other nights, because if you were to be their liaison to the school committee, you may have to attend a school committee meeting on either a Monday or a Thursday night of that particular week, or any other committee. So, we try to keep it. It just depends on whether or not you're willing to step up and use the time. And we appreciate it. And, it's really important, regardless of what happens, is that you get people to attend town meeting, because that's really, as Gordon said and Mel alluded to, that's where all the decisions are made. So we spend all year sort of preparing what we think is the best thing. We vet everything, we put together this budget, or we have these articles on the warrant that people need to vote, but it's really the people who show up at town meeting that have the voice. And so we might think these are all great ideas, but it may not fly when we're sitting in the room.
Okay.
So it's really the rawest form of democracy.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you for your interest.
Hey, thank you. Thanks for having me in. Appreciate it.
No problem.
Thank you.
And if you want to hang out,
Yeah, I'm probably gonna hang out.
Sure. No problem.
thank you so much for willing to step up.
Hey, no problem.
And that chair has like a chain that will chain you to the
This?
And what was your address?
Yeah. All right.
Beep, beep.
And I will pass the information to Pam.
Okay.
And,
Okay. So we have the next appointment set up is 7:15 with Bob Brendon, Council on Aging discussion.
I've got Pam here.
Oh, Pam's here too. All right,
discuss
so let's
this.
go with Pam real quick and then we'll go to
I
Bob.
told her 7, my fault.
Okay.
Yeah, she's gonna cut out on us. So that would be for this.
Okay.
Mr. Cordy.
Okay, so we have a reserve, a request for a transfer from the reserve fund. The amount to be requested is $37,555.56 to be transferred to the school roof and repair ban interest account. Current balance and set appropriation is 0. The amount requested will be used for the payment of the interest of the $4 million ban for the school roof and project repair. It's unforeseen for the following reasons. Most bans are for a year. This one was only 9 months.
What's the amount, Gordon?
$37,555.56.
Unfortunately, the ban is due May 15th.
Right.
We didn't realize this until town meeting warrants had already been sent to the printers.
Okay, so now
Else we would have put an article along, so we could have cut the check the next day after town meeting.
Okay.
So unfortunately, our only solution is to, in fact, come to the finance committee to ask for the transfer. It's unusual and it's a very large amount, but in a sense, Pam would be obligated to pay it no matter what, even without the transfer. She's obligated to pay this debt. But this way, she'll legally have money from the finance committee to do so.
What do we have for our current balance?
$65,500.
And then when you get to your public participation, I need to mention to you about, I don't know, Charlie, did Steele talk to you about the fencing at the baseball field?
No.
Okay, so I'll need to talk to you about that. There may be another reserve transfer request.
Okay.
You've got something there.
Is it on there?
Hurry up and get them in.
No, this is town report.
Okay. So we sort of talked about this last week at the meeting as well, that it's only, the ban was only for 9 months and we did not collect on that payment. So it doesn't really matter that it's debt excluded or not. We can pay this amount. So is there a motion to approve? We'll need a second, then we can discuss.
I make a motion to approve for the sum of $37,555.56.
Second?
I'll second the motion.
Okay, so as Charlie stated, there isn't much other than paying this amount that we can do.
It's always default.
Well, that probably wouldn't work good because we haven't finished getting the work done over there.
At some point.
We're far too delicate for the big house.
Do they have some vacancies down the street?
Sure. It's empty.
Pam, the next ban that we do, will that be paid through the debt line that we have listed?
Yes.
For that portion that is debt excluded, because
That there is a portion that's not.
Well, it's likely, because we need to look at the timing and what we're gonna need to borrow, and whether all the money that we're borrowing in that case is going to be debt excluded project money. Because I don't want to talk about fire suppression system.
Yeah, I don't want you to talk about that either.
But the council on aging, we may need to be borrowing money for that project. That's not a debt excluded project.
On a ban.
On a ban. So Pam's going to need to work with the building committee and to figure out how much money we're going to need for the school project and how much we're going to need for council on aging. And that portion that's school, not fire suppression, but the doors, windows, siding, and then also the roof. So excluded, the rest of it wouldn't be.
Okay. Anybody have any comments or questions?
Is this impact any of our budgeting for 2019? Any of the decisions we made to date?
No, because we have a line item already to pay for debt for the school projects
Okay.
in the fiscal 19 budget.
For the full 12 months?
Yes.
So will we have the same problem again
No,
next year for a 2-month period?
no.
That's what I was asking, essentially.
Okay. So we have enough buffer in there to cover the,
I mean, whatever we'll have it, whatever interest payment we will need to pay during fiscal 19 on this, we have money in the fiscal 19 budget to do that.
okay. Okay, any other discussion? All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Okay, unanimous.
Kendra, do they have 3 copies?
Yes.
Thank you, Kendra.
You're welcome.
Or are you Kendallville?
I might be Kendallville. We'd be giving away our texting code words.
I don't know what the code is. What it means.
So the other responsibility of the finance committee is we have a reserve fund for the regular budget and for the water department. So when issues like this come up during the year, there's a sum of money for unforeseen projects or issues. So this one,
Thank you for jumping ahead on that. Just
no problem.
Pam 7 and... That's my fault.
Okay. So if we didn't pay that,
She would still pay it.
just something else wouldn't get paid?
No, it would be, I suspect I'd have to talk to Sandy about this, but it more likely would be put on the recap sheet next year somehow. Either that or, I mean, I'm not sure how we would balance the books per se, in the sense of we would have to take it out of the bank account because we're legally obligated to pay that no matter what. But to balance it on the other side, I'm not sure whether we would have to raise the funds on the recap sheet, or would there be some other mechanism, something I have to talk to the auditors about.
Gotcha.
This,
Okay, that's all set. Thank you, Pam.
Thank you.
Hi, Barbara.
Hey, Maya.
Good, how are you?
Doing good, a little wet. I was hoping the sun would stay out a little longer.
So, the reason why we asked you to come in was to talk about the building project and the expenses associated with moving and what items you think you're gonna have to go through in order to develop a budget to do that, because we don't have a mechanism built into the warrant for spending other than an expense line budget.
Yeah, so kind of been working on things, already, just to kind of give you an overview. Talked to Charlie a few times and the board, and we'll probably come in and take over the Great Hall.
Okay.
We'll probably all, have already talked to the staff a number of times, bring like a portable packaged office, just the notes and the files that we're gonna need to maintain anywhere from 5 months to probably a year, depending on how long it's gonna take. And we'll have to put things into storage. We'll probably definitely have to rent storage containers and put them on the edge of the town hall property. Most likely get everything out of the building, so I've talked to maintenance already, and we're gonna try to set boxing up the Christmas stuff and, all the non-seasonal things and that sort of thing. The other thing, we can use, I guess, the Board of Selectmen room here, this room, because we like to keep all the programs going, because we won't have a senior center left at the end of this if we don't keep the programs going, which will be quite a feat, but I have a trustees meeting with the church next door also, and we like to continue the Meals on Wheels there. The only problem, one of the issues is the roof, because of the school and the doors and the windows, the family has to meet at the church, so there's a lot of things that can be met around that.
Which group did you say?
The theater.
Theater? Okay.
Yeah.
We have a summer theater group that they're not able to,
Yeah, Bob Nip and, but they're all, we've already talked to 3 major people over there at the church, and I think they'll be on with the project. It's just like how much, could we move our refrigerator over there? Because we do. We do the Meals on Wheels, can we do congregate there? At least maybe twice a week, that sort of thing. And they'll probably charge us, from what you had told me already, depending on, heat and maintenance and keeping it clean and that sort of thing. But the beauty of the town hall and the church will all be close together. And we will be able to continue to have the seniors come in, to
Yep.
stay in touch. Because a lot of what we do is outreach. We run the 2 senior vans. We go to the major medical facilities in Boston and anywhere in between, because we have no public transportation. So just trying to keep everything going. We don't really have a budget yet, and I talked to John the other day, and we probably won't until it gets closer, because it hasn't even gone out to bid yet, And once it does, there's another 2 months, and then the construction plans, I think, said will be finished by May 9th, which is coming up. And then they'll go to the building inspector and the fire chief. You know, and so it's gonna take a little time. So chances are, probably we won't start breaking ground until the end of August, mid to the end of August, maybe September. And again, that keeps changing, you know. We have meetings every 2 to 3 weeks, and, you know, unfortunately, that date keeps on kind of moving on. What else? In the budget, Charlie was right, you know, we don't have anything in the budget, you know, for any of this. The storage bins, and the only other thing that we might need is accordion dividers, just to, you know, segue a few of the office spaces up there. The Shine Council is very important. She helps people with Medicare, Mass Health, prescription drugs. And I have a memorandum of understanding with the state with her, so we have to put her in, you know, she has to have a computer, so she'll have to use one of ours. We're gonna need at least 4 computers up there. You know, one for her, one for newsletters and outreach, myself, and transportation. Our database is on it too, probably at least 3 to 4 phones, and I've talked to maintenance already, Scott. You know, so it's gonna be quite an...
So there's gonna be an expense there to install the phone lines.
Yeah,
Well, we're gonna have to run wires in that room, right?
We're gonna have to have something.
We're gonna,
I mean, it would, you know, depending on the phone equipment, you could have you know, a base phone and not have to run the wires all over the place.
Charlie, should it be the building committee that sort of comes up with the plan of action with, you know, what exactly?
Since we're going to be using their staff to do work, yes, but the Council on Aging needs to be working with them.
Oh, sure.
To say, this is what we're,
Yes.
we're going to be having these locations, we need this equipment over to X, Y, Z.
Right. So do we need to have a meeting with the board of selectmen, the building committee, and the council?
Well, and a few other people also, but the short answer is yes, but it didn't need to be the full board. The idea was, at some point, we're going to have a meeting with all the folks who have building jurisdictions
Yeah.
that might need to provide some, you know, so even the police chief at the community room in the police station, the
Yes.
library, the community room here, us, in this room in Great Hall and such. We would, you know, those other locations, including this room, would be non-permanent in the sense of they have an activity, they're out. They don't get to store stuff here, they don't get to have an office here or in the community room, the library, but they get a box and get brought over to that location, and it gets brought back with whatever equipment they need. Whereas the Great Hall is obviously permanent for the duration.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not thrilled that it's taken so long, but in a way, the timing of it with, you know, the church will have more flexibility, I think, in the fall because of the theater group that normally occupies the school can't be there because of the whole project that's going on there. Right out there, I know, right there. Sorry, I have to go take a picture with them.
yeah, the church has been great already.
Yeah.
I don't think there'll be a problem, but I do have to meet before the trustees next month. It's getting a little bit closer, just to
Yeah.
fine tune some of those.
Yeah, I certainly think this is the time to have those conversations, to sort of sit down and, as Charlie said, to have some of us in a room to say, okay, this is the best place for this, and have Caesar there and all the different people that are gonna have to execute the move. So,
The theater group finishes by, they're
August.
mainly a July
yeah.
program. They
They're
usually
in-
done by the first week.
Yeah, but, you know, they've been having the building committee meetings on the same night as our selectmen's meeting, so that's why I haven't been able to go. So, I'm gonna, I'll have to call John Campbell, see if maybe they can just make a special one so that I can swing on by, but
Yeah, so,
sorry it's taken so long, what a drag.
Charlie, did I hear you correctly that you were asking about building committee? Are they facilitating the move? And they're providing the building maintenance department, providing labor, the labor?
I mean, it's either going to be that or
Portion.
we're going to have to hire other.
Yeah, because I kind of had that as a line item
Yeah.
question.
Well, and in fact, what I need, you know, I came up with your meeting last week, I did touch base with Larry Mayo and with John Bruno, and they said, yes, if the finance committee, because it's your article, you could split the line item into two, or in essence, add a line item. So
Okay.
that it's council on aging expenses, council on aging relocation expenses.
Okay,
So that we could have a, call it one, whatever the number is, 107A, let's say.
Yeah.
We could put some money into that line item at this town meeting.
If the building committee is the ones that are responsible for it, are we better off to do it under their expense line? Because they had to do a sub,
I don't know that it matters, but we need a sub-line item, and we need it for this particular purpose. It can be under their jurisdiction, but it has to be for that particular activity and no other activity.
so,
My only concern simply is that they don't seem to be so far aggressive about coming in to talk with anybody who, in fact, would be having purse strings. It's been the Council on Aging who's come here tonight, for instance. I mean, I've got nothing from the building committee saying, oh, yeah, we're gonna need some money to do this. Well, I got zero.
Okay.
At least these folk, they might have a number today, maybe, again, with the building committee meeting sometime, they will have a meeting before town meeting, I think it may be May 9th.
It's on the 9th.
Which is a Wednesday. So,
Yeah.
Is
Oh,
to,
May 9th?
yes,
The building committee?
yes,
That's what I was told.
is to go and say to them on that night, look, we need a number, even if it's a rough number, for the moving expenses, and both moving in the sense of the physical move and then back and forth, but the additional expenses to run the Great Hall or run, pay the rent over at the church or whatever else we need to do there.
yeah, so it's gonna go to C.
I hate to even say like a little subcommittee needs to be born, but I think it does. Just sort of like, because they're handling, the architect and everything, and you're part of that, but I think that there needs to be a subcommittee, because this building is going to certainly be affected by it, and we need to engage Caesar for the computers and, just the logistics.
Yeah, we've had a meeting, actually Scott and Caesar and myself, a couple of times we've kind of met up, so.
Barbara, are they gonna let you use Fellowship Hall? Because that's a big hall over there.
Well, I think so.
For different
I've talked to
things.
3 major players
Yeah.
over there that have been there for years, and none of them have any problem. So now we have to go before the Board of Trustees, because they're the ones that will make the final
Yeah,
vote.
because they only have things at nighttime over there.
Yeah, Bob Niffin's fine,
Yeah,
so
he's
just,
great.
we're out at noon, and
Yeah,
we can go in, and we got, Clifton Meals on Wheels are now being done by them, thank goodness. They've been doing that now for a month, because that was a
and
lot.
there's classrooms downstairs, you might be able
Yeah.
to utilize.
Yeah.
But that is also the location for an emergency evacuation of the elementary school, so we need to sort of pull in the fire chief and the police chief to know that, because if you're going to be occupying that for a certain period of time, we may need to come up with an alternative evacuation for the elementary school. And I know the first time we did it, we originally did half at the church and half here, but we'll need to engage the fire chief and the police chief to.
And probably just minimal Monday through Friday, for Meals on Wheels. The food usually comes in off the truck around 10:30, anywhere from 10:15 to 11, and then it gets bagged up, and then the drivers come in and take it out. So if we have congregant meals, which I'm trying to do, we normally have a Monday through Friday at any time, so at least twice a week.
Yeah.
And some storage space for all of that. And then maybe, we can have some special presentations or lunches over there too. That's what I'm hoping.
It's a great space.
Yeah.
And I totally get that you want to be able to keep the.
We'll be together.
Yes.
Because Maria, who works for Old Colony, is stationed in the Council on Aging, has a desk, and so she, we have to work with her, either put her upstairs in the Great Hall, or, I'm sure she doesn't want to be at the church by herself, because we're trying to keep everyone together, and we're trying to keep it so maybe we'll have a small little corner upstairs too for the men's coffee, and, when the bread comes in, and because so we can keep in touch with all of them too, that would be very important. So, definitely think it can be done, but,
What would you use for the Meals on Wheels? What ones?
oh, the church?
Yeah.
Yeah, just the main
Yeah, they
room
have
right there, the
they have a
counter, the
good-sized
kitchen.
kitchen.
Right there, yeah.
They have a full-size fridge,
Yeah.
but I know they use it for other things.
I know, that's why
Yeah.
we,
Yes, they have
brought over our fridge.
Yeah.
You know, just a question.
But it's a full kitchen, it's good size.
Yeah. So they had like that little bar area, just a little table.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a really great space.
Bob doesn't have a problem with it, even if we put a table on the side, and like I said, he's out at 12, and he's done by July.
Yeah.
July.
And when I was, when we were working on the whole evacuation plan for the elementary school, and there are so many classrooms
Yeah,
downstairs, like there's a lot of different spaces, so.
Yeah.
I think there's about
offices.
6 rooms downstairs.
Yeah, and if they're only used on, like, eventually.
Just Sunday mornings.
Yeah,
Well, they said like AA meets,
Yeah.
they could go downstairs, and
Oh,
they're
they
very
have-
flexible,
yeah.
yeah. Bible study, they could go downstairs, so.
A lot of those things are at night.
Mhm. Yeah, so I think it's doable. I know we can't have like the oil paint is in here because of the fragrance free. Nails by Julie because of the smells and all that, so we'll have to outsource that maybe to the church. Well, I know Jean's opened up the library too, but they're very busy in there also, so.
Okay.
it's not gonna be a fun process, but when it's done, it's gonna be so nice.
Yeah, we've been ordering boxes already and saving boxes in order, because really, think of it, we have a lot of stuff over there. It's gonna be a lot. We're trying to clean out and trying to clean up.
So basically, you're gonna be looking at a couple of pods for storage, rental agreement with the church for costs. Storage pods,
And maybe some, they call it accordion room dividers.
room
I
divider.
know some of the other council on agents have them. And they're portable, you can move them around. We can definitely use them afterwards with a new renovation project also.
In any of your meetings, has a back of the envelope number come up as far as what you
No.
expect?
It's, you know, because everything is so still far off again. So that's what John said, we probably won't know until it gets much closer. you know.
Yeah, certainly when when it was a 5-month to a 1-year window, I'm not asking for you to nail down a particular dollar that we're gonna commit to today, but it would be nice to have a general idea of what we're looking to spend.
I think with the storage pods, especially depending on the company, they can do the walkthrough and give you a general sense of the square footage you'll need. So that might be helpful, because I think that's.
That was the
looking to be one
biggest
of the-
cost that we
Yeah.
estimated a couple weeks ago.
Yeah,
The
so I
labor
think
costs are gonna be the
Yeah.
most expensive.
at least you have a sense of the size, and then we can sort of calculate out, okay, worst case scenario, this many months, best case scenario, this many months.
Yeah.
So just by walking through, they can just do a few measurements and.
Yep, they point to them exactly what you need, show them everything, and then they calculate the kind of capacity of the storage pod that you need. And they're really good at getting it right.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so I'll try to attend that May 9th. Do we know what time that meeting is? It's 7 o'clock?
7 usually, yeah.
Is it here or is it at the water
I
department?
believe it's at the water department.
That's great, it's a Wednesday, you can come. Yeah.
We probably should have it here. There's not a lot of room
I'll
over
also
there.
address that.
We can mention it to John.
There's room for maybe 4 people.
Yeah.
It'll work.
So rental agreement, storage pods, room dividers, labor for moving, and then computer setup and
Phone lines.
phone lines.
And rent from the church, whatever they will charge.
Do you, do you have, do we need to put a phone in the church? And,
No, just
So-
Maria can come over here and,
okay, I just didn't know if there needed to be, do we need to have
I don't think so,
service there?
no.
You can probably use Reverend Gary's office if you need to.
No, because she has, you know, we have cell phones, we use those a lot too. Little drivers and volunteers.
Okay.
Scott happened to mention any electrical upgrades that'll be need. I don't know if there's any equipment over there that
He said he...
requires
you know,
different service.
He'd probably be looking into it, definitely. And he's new too, still trying to get accustomed to his job and the buildings and...
Okay. Scott has been going to the building committee meetings while you've been
Oh, yeah,
talking about
yeah, he's
the
been-
council.
Mhm.
Okay. I will try to attend that meeting.
So he knows all this already, we've already talked about all this, so...
Okay, it's just that we need to put in a line into the warrant someplace so that there's money available, because starting July 1st, that's the new fiscal year, so if we don't have any money budgeted, we can't spend
And when
any.
do you need that figure?
Well, the warrant got printed
Come
and
on.
mailed. I got my copy in the mail today, so as soon as possible so that we can get it updated. Because we'll have to have that number for town meeting. We have to have some sort of idea of what we're looking at spending.
I'm sure John.
We don't meet again after that meeting on the 9th before town meeting.
Yeah.
But we'll probably meet right before.
Yeah, we'll have to meet right before. So the fastest that we can get an idea if we're looking at, 0 to 20 or 20 to 40 or more, so that we can understand what the effect is going to be.
And I'll follow up with John tomorrow just to let him know, and
Okay, because
maybe we can start working on it before the May 9th meeting.
the amount of money that we spend there will change the report that we give to the town meeting on what we're looking at for a tax rate, what we're looking at for the average tax bill. So I need, a few hours to calculate that information. I can't just do it the night of town meeting
Yeah,
to
okay.
be real accurate. Are there any other items that you can think of that we need to either purchase or rent? So that,
No, I think that's about... Said boxes, I'm ordering a lot, boxes now and saving all that sort of thing. I know it sounds silly, but
Have you spoken to any of the local businesses in town?
no, because we don't really have any place to put them. Yeah, we really don't over there. We don't have any place to store them other than down in the musty cellar, and
That's not a
probably
good place for cardboard, I
be all
understand.
moldy by the time we use them, so.
No, if you speak to some of the local businesses in town, Walmart, Stop and Shop, they go through a ton of cardboard boxes. Save you some money there if you can work with them and take some of theirs.
Right. You also might want to talk to like Joe Tonello, because those
The liquor
box
box is another
sizes,
great one, yeah.
that's a great size, because you can't load them too heavy. When I moved my daughter, we used a lot of those.
Like the liquor store?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it's a
All
good
donated by
size.
Joe, right?
No, actually, I have a liquor store in Weymouth, but yeah.
okay. Anyone else think of any other?
Besides the electrical
Expense line.
upgrade, that would be the only other thing I can think of.
So forgive me, I probably should already know this, but I had thought that last year when the presentations were made that this type of activity was already built into the project plan. Did I miss that?
Yeah, not, you mean the cost as far as all this?
Yeah, I remember we talking about it, so I guess I assumed likely incorrectly that the cost to actually implement it
No,
was included
not
as
to
well.
not to my knowledge, right, Charlie?
Not
No,
mine either, no.
no,
Okay.
it usually doesn't happen that way. It would be a smart thing though to have it happen. A wise one, that's for sure. but-
Yeah. And then the accordion dividers, was the thought to rent or to buy those? Because you had mentioned repurposing them back at the new COA.
Yeah, it would be great if we could buy them, but if we had to rent them, then we'd have to do that,
Okay. And with these accordion dividers, you just mentioned something about someone coming in, checkups and stuff. Are there any HIPAA considerations that we need to think of or consider?
You mean as far as the dividers?
Yeah,
Well, in the
like
sense of just general privacy problems.
Yeah.
for medical discussions.
Confidential, I mean, we're talking, people they come in for outreach and we're sometimes laying out all their finances and a lot of personal information, and plus sound, it's a barrier for sound.
That's my
too.
question, is will it provide the sufficient amount of privacy required
Yep.
specifically for HIPAA discussions?
We don't need each QB, but just as long as we have, at least two, two to get by, for the Shine Counselor and for the outreach, that sort of thing.
And then the other things are that depending on the timing situation and such, if they need to have a confidential meeting, they can come down here if this room's already not being used by the Council on Aging. So,
And we'll be using this room a lot.
Okay, and then this is probably a silly question, I've been coming into this building for 4 years now, and I honestly don't remember what the front looks like. Are there any special accommodations that we need to think about in terms of ramps or
Oh, there's a ramp.
access?
There's a ramp there
Is there one
now.
at the church too?
Well, they just redid their
Yeah, they took
stairs.
out the ramp and they put in stairs, so now you gotta go
You
up to
can
the
go in-
front.
Yeah, you can
to
go
go
in
in.
the front way or the back.
Okay. And then in terms of phones, just consideration, I know that there's a new voice over internet protocol, they have like a soft phone, where it actually, the phone actually moves with your computer. So if you're putting in computers, you can forego the landlines. That's a viable option. It's worth looking into, I think.
And we would mention it to Caesar, see what Caesar has to say. And what's the name of it?
Well, the one, soft phone is one of them, but wherever your computer is where your phone is. So your number moves with you.
Okay, I'll mention it to him.
That's what I have.
Yeah, we're looking to upgrade the computers too.
You might say, not this year, maybe next year.
Anything else you guys think of? Thank you guys very much for coming in, and did my best to attend that. See if anybody else can go to that Wednesday night meeting.
7 o'clock.
Yeah. Kenny, would you mind just posting it just in case? Okay, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Bye, ladies.
Kim, you got a picture to take, don't you?
We'll see you on the ninth.
Did you take the picture already?
I did, I took a picture.
Wow, that was quick.
They were quick. They had it on a timer already set up. It's a project for the school. They get so many points and they get a picture taken with the building. So it's with the timer.
Nice.
I do it every year. It's a different group, but now this is my youngest son's group.
What's the age group? I remember that, Fred.
Yeah, yeah.
Mr. Pina?
Yeah. People
Yeah.
The tag, yes.
He
Yeah.
made us do it with a celebrity too one year, so we had to hunt down Chris Cooper in Kingston. And we were all so scared
It's that
because he
time of
was
year.
like so curmudgeon. He let us in, we got the picture. That's
No, I
funny.
usually bring
Oh
them.
my God, I can't believe that's still happening.
Yeah, I usually bring them to the fire department or the police department, but it was kind of a
Oh my God.
That's okay, they got some.
So we've got another reserve transfer request. The amount requested is $1,890.96 to be transferred to the town report line. The present balance in the appropriation is $883.44. The amount requested will be used for pay for printing and mailing of the warrant for the annual and special town meeting of May 14, 2018. This expenditure is extraordinary or unforeseen for the following reasons. The town had a previous town meeting this fiscal year that had not been scheduled, and the funds were used to print and mail the warrant for that meeting. Was there a motion to approve?
Actually, can you repeat that last sentence?
The town had a previous town meeting this fiscal year that had not been scheduled, and the
Okay.
funds were used to print and mail that warrant for that meeting.
Okay, thanks.
Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Is there a second?
I second the motion.
Any discussion? The amount again is $1,890.96. Any more discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, aye?
Aye.
It's unanimous.
Since you're talking about the reserve, can I just bring up the subject because I thought maybe he was gonna give.
He's not in touch with me whatsoever.
Okay. So when I was in Denver, he had called me, it was the opening day of baseball. And there was a lot of damage at the fields because we had a lot of trees falling and there was a lot of fencing and that fencing is not very safe at all. And he contacted the highway survey to see if they could help them out to maybe salvage it, and it doesn't look like that's possible. And for the safety of the field, you know, Dick was gonna get some prices together, because we might have, it's too late to put it on the warrant, and it is a safety issue. So I just want you to be on notice that they may be coming in with some sort of transfer in order to accomplish the new fencing or whatever they need to do there.
Is this multiple fields or
I believe it's really the
the far Babe Ruth field down in the back?
Yeah, we call it where all the, yeah. Yeah, so just to sort of put you on notice. Maybe he hasn't been in contact because he was gonna find out some pricing. Because he didn't really know at the time. So he was just gonna let the parents know to keep the kids away, and then just sort of moving things around. But we certainly have baseball, not just in the spring, but it goes through the summer for all-star teams, so. And it's used for the girls softball, so something's gonna have to get done.
Has the site been cleaned?
Yeah, I think that Steve was great about going over and removing the trees. It's just right now.
But the fence itself?
Yeah.
Has it been taken down?
As far as I know, and that was about a week ago when Dick called me. I think Steve was taking the parts that weren't.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so people weren't getting hurt on it.
How much of the fence was damaged? Kim?
I haven't seen it, honestly. Like, I apologize. He had called me over the weekend when I was away, so it was a quick.
So we don't know if it's one section or 300 feet.
Yeah, I don't know the specifics. All I know is that he was gonna get pricing, and he was gonna get back in touch with me or Charlie, and, you know, he understands that it would need to be a reserve transfer through you.
Especially if it's those high fences.
Yeah. I think,
I assume that's what he's talking about,
yeah,
that
I'm
back
thinking
stuff.
he might have thought it was somewhere around 8,000, which was a lot of money. But again, it's too late to put it on the warrant, and he doesn't have it on his line item because that's been used for all of the fertilizing and everything else for the field, so. And I thought at the time, I said, oh, I haven't really seen any major transfers from the reserve account, so, you know, you should be all set. And
And then boom, 38 grand.
Half of it
I was
gone.
like, ruh-roh, wait a minute, I need that. So, we'll keep in touch, but like I said, he's probably just getting pricing.
Send an email now.
Am I correct that we can't do line item transfers until May 1st?
Correct.
Yes.
Okay, so this will have to wait until next week?
Yep.
Unless we go to midnight tonight.
No.
What time did the Bruins start there? Gordon?
7.
What-
Still.
What's the reason for line item transfers can only start on May 1st? Just,
Just under state law.
State law.
and when does it run till?
Until,
Yeah,
well,
the
they-
fiscal year.
you could do them up to July 15th.
So I-
Oh, I knew it was
All right,
15.
thank you.
Okay, July 15.
Idea of the cost for replacing the ditch.
No mail, right?
Well, there was mail, but it was just for Gordon. Not for you.
Okay. I'm okay with that.
No mail for you.
If you like, I can hand it to you, because this will be the mail that you'll have next year.
Future school committee
Sorry, that's what it
liaison.
says then.
Yeah.
Are you guys gonna do rock, paper, scissors, shoot for that one?
Lizard Spock.
I thought what they were gonna do was just drag me back and make them give them an update once a week.
Yeah, you're gonna be forced to attend the finance committee meetings. Because
Knows it.
since your budget drives the ship, you
It
know?
won't be
Gonna
just
save that speech for a couple months.
It won't be just my budget. I sent him an email. Is there any chance of using insurance funds, putting in a claim?
The short answer is yes.
Yeah.
The longer answer is, it's probably a $5,000 deductible.
Yeah.
But since I don't have anything from him at all in terms of estimates or photographs or anything, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna,
So probably not.
it's limited value. Let's put it that way. I'll need to talk to Dick a little bit
Yeah.
more.
I thought, yeah.
Okay. So here's a copy of meeting minutes from Monday, February 26, 2018. We were all present. And this was a fun meeting.
It was the one upstairs.
It was the one in the Great Hall with
the-
all the department heads and selectmen. Has everybody had a chance to review? Any corrections or anything? Okay, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Unanimous.
Thank you very much.
Can you read
No,
those
thank you.
tonight? Yeah, Clark.
It was a joy listening to that.
Oh, no,
Those three
not
hours.
unless you want to. So seeing that Linda resigned as clerk, is there a motion to make someone else clerk?
Thank you, Mel.
Does anybody want to be clerk?
Is this when we go Bueller? Bueller?
You want it?
I'll do it.
Okay.
Okay, somebody make a motion?
I move to appoint Melinda Tarsi as clerk to the finance committee.
Is there a second?
I will second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
All right, so we can have you sign the finance committee meeting minutes from now on.
I'm going over the minutes with a fine tooth comb.
Well, you will be on summer break soon, so you'll have plenty of time to go.
It'd be like grading papers.
It's really
I'm gonna get hit with the last day slashes.
Yeah, my son Harrison's graduating from WPI and tomorrow's his last day.
No.
Yeah.
Here's what I appreciate it.
No,
Done. No more. He's a goat. He's a goat. WPI is a goat.
oh, back to goats again.
Sneaky the
I remember when he first started going to WPI and it was a goat. I'm like, goat, what does that have to do with engineering? And I said, is it because goats are used to climbing high and tough terrain to, it's the knowledge of growing better? And he said, no, Mom, my guy was a drunk and he had a goat that got drunk and that's why it was a goat. I'm like, I like mine.
Oh, so
better.
Adam Sandler.
Drunk goat.
Okay, so
I wonder why Brian's left.
review of articles. So the only thing we had left was zoning, and we can't do zoning yet because they haven't had their meeting.
Zoning, oh, yes. For the
yeah.
articles
Yep,
and planning.
yep.
Yep. That's next Thursday.
This Thursday.
This Thursday?
I know, I'm gonna be away, so I can't go.
Budget discussion. Kingston is having their town meeting this Saturday.
But not on financial.
Not on finance.
Yep. So we will be first to act on Silver Lake. Charlie, did you attend this morning's meeting about the,
Yeah. I think the status is going to be 12 right now. They're not going to be pushing for any changes in terms of school security right now.
okay. So the next item is the school fire
Right.
suppression.
So we went out to bid, unlike the doors, windows, siding project, which we did this winter, we've got bids and they were low, meaning lower than the budget amount, which is all good. We went out to bid for the fire suppression system, bids were due on Thursday, we got no bids. Two choices, one of which is rebid now, which has a lot of disadvantages. One is that we're under time pressure, which raises costs, and that we probably would have bids come in at the end of May. That would give any vendor maybe about 3 to 4 weeks to get everything set up. and your assets, so that's a time pressure right now for that. 2 is most of the bidders probably have their dance cards full for this summer as it is. 3 is anybody who doesn't knows we didn't get any bids, and we'll bid high. So the consensus was, no, let's not do this for the summer of 18, we'll do it for the summer of 19.
So we're gonna hold off on the fiber optic changes as well?
No. I've been in a conversation with school administration, including Steve Pello. He feels the best thing is to get that work done now, this
Okay.
summer. Doing the fire suppression work in 19 won't disturb that. In essence, it'll be, I guess it's better armored, I think is what he was saying, in terms of any of the wiring and such.
Yeah.
It'll be in a better place, so it won't be disturbed by the fire suppression work in the summer of 19, even if they do the fiber optic stuff this year.
So that estimated cost, they thought, when they looked at that project, the fiber optic replacement was to do it while all the ceiling tiles had been removed?
Right.
So are we gonna have to increase the cost
I
on
don't know,
that project?
I'll ask Steve.
Because that was one of the things that they had talked about that would make it easier to do and faster and probably cheaper.
Let me ask, I'll send a note to Steve to find out.
Okay.
Charlie, did we receive formal no bids or?
No, 0 bids.
So we sent out a query, we got no response.
Correct.
Okay.
We got sub-bids for the acoustic tile and for the electrical work, but the GC in this case was the fire suppression companies, and then no one sent in, which is one of the problems. Most of them probably aren't used to being a GC because they probably come in as a subcontractor for larger projects. And we separated this out for several different reasons, but they're not, some of them indicate they're that used to doing that. So that was one of the challenges.
Okay, is that unusual?
That we got 0 or that they are?
Yeah, I mean, I'm used to, if you're not gonna get a bid, you're usually told and told why.
Well,
Not getting nothing.
Yeah, I mean, Scott Bancroft from Habib and Associates did contact some of the firms afterwards, and that's what they told him. It's one of the reasons, but they hadn't told him ahead of time. I mean, I think we only had maybe 3 or 4 for the walkthrough back earlier this month. But, you know, as I said, we got sub-bids, but I don't think Steve had heard from people specifically before Thursday saying, sorry, we're not going to do this.
Okay.
So, I mean, we have an article at town meeting at the special, which we'll pass over, which was there in case the bids came in higher than expected. I can't move the money from the doors, windows, siding project because that's a debt excluded project. I can't take debt exclusion money and put it into a non-debt excluded project. So even if, you know, if at some point in the future we get bids in, which we will, we'll either go out to bid this summer or we'll go out to bid in winter. I'm talking to Scott Bancroft again about timing issues because it may, you know, some firms may say, I don't want to bid that far out a year in advance. Some of them, and some of them may just be too busy with the work they're doing right then and there.
So should we adjust the line item that we have for the fire suppression system? Because we estimated a cost for that within the warrant.
For 2019.
It's in the debt.
Yeah. So should we adjust that?
If the work is
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, because we're gonna have to go out and borrow at some point during fiscal 19, but we won't have to pay anything in fiscal 19.
When we voted that, we voted a total.
977.
So we estimated the payment based on that. So we're probably better off just leaving that alone in there, because if the,
I think we should just take it out.
Yeah, because if we leave it in there, eventually
We're not
it
gonna have
becomes
a
free
penny.
cash and we're taxing the residents on it.
I'm in agreement with both of them, we just zero it out, because we're not going to make any interest or principal payment
So you wouldn't get a band in at all on that? You wouldn't think?
Not until we
You
do.
wouldn't ban
Oh,
it.
because you can't do the work because the school has to be closed, yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
so we wouldn't be banning
Yeah.
it until like May
following
or
year.
June of next year, so we wouldn't be paying any interest until the following year.
Okay. So,
So we can back that out and then revote that line next week?
yep,
177K?
that was the total.
project that was gonna go.
I think we had 85,000 in that line.
Okay.
90?
90,373.
So take that out, put in whatever we estimate for counts on aging.
Council on Aging.
It shouldn't be 90.
It shouldn't be 90. Those
Trust me, I'm not-
laborers
I'm
get a
not
lot of
voting for
money.
90,000.
That's accordion dividers.
Before she
Only the
has
best.
to walk through, she has to mark what's coming upstairs, because a lot of their furniture and everything is gonna come up to the Great Hall anyways.
It can fit for all the dogs.
They don't have desks. This
Okay.
is really tricky.
So they could zero.
Get a waste.
So change that line. Um,
You have a piano, right?
Are there any other lines that we need to make adjustments on that we can think of right now, besides putting in a sub-line for council on aging?
I don't think we ever finalized whether we were gonna find the 25,000 in case of.
I think we just found it.
So is this newfound 90K changing any of our other decisions made to date?
I don't think so, because unless it's a one-time item to spend.
Which, okay.
If that 90,000 is available to spend now, is there a capital item that we would
That's a
have
raise
changed your
and
vote?
The debt is a raise and appropriate.
Right, but it's a 1 year.
Yeah.
So if there's one item within the lines that we could afford to spend, that would be a 1 year thing, because this debt's gonna be back there next year.
Gotcha.
If you could spend this money wisely to lower costs someplace else, then yeah, it would make sense. But I don't know if there's any lines within the capital plan that we have in the warrant that we were gonna pass over,
Only one.
which is
The
that,
Kubota,
and that's not,
Kubota.
is that 90?
48,000.
I don't know, we have to check with Len though.
It was, yeah, it was
The Kubota.
48,000 was the price on it, but I don't know whether they
I mean,
want to do that. or not.
that would be the only thing that would make sense, is if you have this money as a one-time spend.
No, I get it, but we also have other capital items, and you remind me, please, Bill. Were we really, I was fine with the Kubota, but you and Len are the Kubota experts. Did you feel comfortable with the size of the Kubota?
I did.
You
I
did?
just had a question on the attachments. I didn't have a question on the equipment,
Okay.
the law equipment.
So with the Kubota comes the attachments, which was additional, that was that, the arm.
Slope mower, yeah,
Yeah, you guys pay attention to all that stuff.
and the flail arm, yeah.
Which we wouldn't have enough money for this year.
The flail arm was a separate thing.
That
We
was
don't
that was a
have that
separate
in the-
line.
Right, we do
Yeah.
not have that in the warrant.
So I
The
think,
Kubota is actually in the warrant and we were going to pass it over.
yes.
He wanted it in there to let people know it was coming up for the following year.
Yeah, and it's not that I don't think it's important, I just know that there were so many questions about the Kubota that I think we would need to sit down with, have a quick
I
meeting.
think maybe Len and I can take an action to sit down with Steve
Would you?
and talk about that further, because he and I kind of disagree.
Okay,
So,
counterpoint.
yeah.
Okay, thank you. And then if that is something that we don't want to do, it's okay to leave the money on the table, because it will just become free cash for next year, and where, you know.
No.
No, it doesn't
Oh,
get
right.
Leave
taxed.
it on the, if we leave it on the table, we don't tax it.
Right.
We can at least get the answers.
But that's
Yeah,
not
we
a
can
bad
just
thing.
look at the answers, because honestly, Sorry, I'm just getting distracted.
It's not a bad thing leaving it on the table.
It's not a bad thing either, because we're gonna have less free cash next year, because we've cut expense budgets on this side as well, and then, you know, we
Well,
have.
if that's the case, it makes more sense to buy it this year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I say. The only thing is, if it's a need, it's not gonna go away.
No, that's
Right.
true,
Right.
but it just, because that was the next thing on the list, right?
I think it was.
Okay, so if you and Len can work through the size of the
Yeah, so
Kubota.
the 48 grand included 3 attachments.
Oh, it did, okay,
Yeah, the
perfect,
smoke,
I thought it was.
flare alarm, and
Oh, it did?
something else that slips my mind,
Oh,
I
then,
believe.
okay, I thought it was separate, but so then that makes more sense.
I thought they were too. I'll have to double check.
Yeah, because then maybe it's really not as big as we think it is, like the difference in price
Right, we
between.
could say that, look, we can get you the Kubota this year, but we can't get you 3 attachments. You can just use what you have. for
Yeah,
now.
and I wonder if they can,
Yeah.
yeah,
I would think that that would make sense as a one-off item. I mean,
okay, all right,
the idea over time was to try to get some raise and appropriate money to be part of
yes, we understand, yeah, totally.
capital, but that's not gonna
Yeah.
probably happen. But if you can do it once this one year and pull in an item that you're gonna
Right,
get a life expectancy out of and get real use and make the department better off, I would
Yeah.
think it would make sense.
and I think that, you know, of the list of his priorities, certainly we didn't fund everything, but that was higher on the list, except I'm gonna miss saying Kubota.
Was the salt shed something that we were?
Oh, yeah, that's a nightmare.
The salt shed was the other item, but it's not
Yeah.
on the warrant.
Well, it's not on the warrant because we were gonna use chapter 90 money for it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The other thing we could do is, there is a line in there to put a match in there.
Put a match? Oh, the match of 90. We could do that.
Another place to put money also is in Monpont.
Oh, yes. So when I bumped into Tom Coulter at the Verizon store before I came, and he thinks that we're gonna get 120,000 in a line item from Monpont. And he said before he resigns, he's gonna come see us to say goodbye. And I said, and to bring us money? He said, perhaps.
Well, the thing is that money won't be available until July.
I know.
We're planning on doing the
Yes.
dosing the end of this month, end of May, beginning of June.
Right.
so.
How much are you looking for from one concert shop?
Well,
Anything.
yeah.
I know, but how much?
I don't
Well,
know,
we have,
20?
well, no, we have some money from,
No, but we don't have town money at this point.
no, but we have plenty of matching that we've already spent toward the
Yes.
state grants, yes.
We also still have to look at the electricity bills.
Yes.
So, Bill, would you mind talking to Steve about cost of the salt shed? Because honestly,
So prices.
I would push the Kubota off and fix the building. If
Yeah.
that's,
Because that's,
I would agree.
he could spend the money out of that chapter, the
Oh,
chapter
even
90
the
article. So if you put that contribution in there, then he could use that for that.
All right, I'll bring the breakdown of what funds are in there currently.
Yeah, because he couldn't use it for the Kubota though, because the Kubota has to be kind of snow related, right? Because chapter, oh no, I couldn't.
Chapter 90.
just in order of priority, we
Yeah.
should be maintaining the buildings that we have that serve a function
Yeah.
rather than getting new equipment.
But this piece of equipment is, in fairness, his piece of equipment was many, many years old.
Oh, yeah.
Certainly, but I think
The
the-
front end is nothing but a big weld joint. It's in
Yeah.
bad shape.
Instead of us discussing it for,
Integral part of
Well,
doing
wouldn't the
business.
salt shed fall under buildings anyways? No?
no.
No, but we have, yeah,
It-
we'll be okay. Find out about the Kubota, I'll say it one more time.
Yeah.
I would find out the cost of the Kubota and what he has for cost of the salt shed and see
Yeah,
what funds. I mean, he also was talking about paving roads, so he'll have a better idea of which roads he's looking at and what cost he's looking at, because I would much rather see roads get fixed and fix the salt shed and push the Kubota off for a year, is my opinion.
Fair enough. But he did mention the 4 streets or roads that he's looking to pave, right?
Right.
Yeah, last week when he was in.
But if there's additional money that we could put towards fixing something, I would rather spend that money as wisely and top priority from your
Fair
list.
enough. Okay.
Um,
Can you send me Len's email or
Yeah.
cell phone number?
I'm gonna send it to you right now.
The other item, just to make everyone aware, is for budget discussion. In the capital plan approved by Silver Lake, they had $100,000 to replace the lighting at Serco Field.
Yes.
The cost came back at over $300,000. And they're asking all the sports teams and boosters to try to start raising money to try to replace them.
A lot of brownies.
And they're also looking at going into a lease to own. So put the $100,000 down this year and then whatever the cost is over the next 5, 7, or 9 years.
What needs to be replaced on the lights?
All the poles.
Poles are all running.
The poles were all telephone poles donated in 1985.
I just sent that to you. Can you make sure you get it?
So that's the other budgeting item from my departments that I heard, because they, within their school budget, their capital budget included that item. So, when we get that pot shop down on River Street, they can sell brownies outside of.
No retail on that one, right?
Well, like some sort of retail sales.
No.
Well, the town's not gonna get a cut of it, right?
I get confused. There's so many people applying for the grant or the
I know.
hot stuff in town here.
I know.
Are there any other items? We've had 2 great ones, fire suppression and the lighting.
Nothing.
Our next meeting is May 6th.
Correct.
And then
Yes.
May 14th is town meeting?
Yep.
Or 13th?
14th.
14th?
It's always the day after Mother's Day.
Isn't May 6th our next meeting?
Last year was the first time I was sick. I know. 'Cause I'm
So wouldn't it be 13?
And
Oh,
I
wait.
Mother's
No, May
Day
7th is Monday.
is my day.
Is it?
It's Monday.
Yeah.
Oh,
Last year
so I
was
screwed up on the
year
first
in
one.
many, many years.
Yes.
There we go. That makes sense. So 7th and 14th.
Average is 1 in 7.
So can you post us for May 7th, May 9th, May 14th, May 15th, and May 16th? I would say, because we have that meeting on the 9th, I would post us for 6:30 of town meeting night.
Is there anything the selectmen will be bringing us before?
All the contracts are settled, so we already voted those.
Yeah.
So you're posting it, did I hear you correctly, 14th, 15th, and 16th?
Hey,
Well, in case
Hey,
it's gonna go.
we
well,
only
did
posted-
it one day last year.
That was amazing.
always post.
Boy, where's the optimism?
there was a town meeting that went four nights. So
I think we'll
just
get a
post
pretty
it
good
to be
feel on
done.
Halifax locals this week as to
Been
how
very
many.
quiet.
Yeah, well, they may not have
Well,
perused this piece of literature
It just came
yet.
in the mail today.
No,
I got mine this weekend.
Yeah.
Oh, you did? I
me too.
picked up my mail today. So,
Yeah,
So the
it's been
7th and the 7th is here,
yeah,
9th is
possibly gonna be here, depending upon the building.
both.
That's a building committee meeting.
Both
It's
at
a-
seven.
I'm sending a note to the building committee suggesting they
I'll let you know.
move here.
Okay.
I'll let you know. And the 3 will be across the
Yeah.
street in that room.
Yes.
I will have pizza and salad from Nick and Angela's for that meeting, the Monday night.
So you're going away.
The rest of the night. No, I always do. Ever since I
know.
became chairman, I
I know,
bought
but
pizza and
it's
salad.
gonna be a going away party.
Good gym the past couple of years, we only had pizza.
You didn't get
He
salad?
comes late.
Who, me? Yeah, I was a little late last year. Tell me it's 6 o'clock, so I a little
Maybe
sooner.
we should go meet with the finance committee.
Yeah.
You're gonna be right across the hall from us, right?
I know, I didn't even
We're gonna
smell the
put a
stick of
fan on
pizza.
so you can smell the
That's because he
pizza.
was late.
Does it matter that I was a former member of the finance committee? Do I get a slice?
You pay extra. Nobody likes a quitter, Kim.
That was good, Mel. You know me.
So I'm gonna have to redo the letter numbers
Yeah.
for town meeting and give that, as a report. Anything else that I need to do? I need to give somebody the template for that. I'm sure Sandy can forward that off. She always corrects it. And Kendra always corrects it for me.
I just wait and hope Sandy does it. And if I don't see anything for a long time, then I go,
Well, Melinda corrected it this time too.
see? That's why she's the clerk.
Okay. Anything else, anyone? Motion to,
I think it's Diane's.
oh,
Sorry.
Make a motion to
No.
We have
adjourn?
department meetings on, or is that?
so the only department meeting that we had set up was with
Council meeting.
Barbara, if there was anybody else that we were gonna talk, I mean, Steve came in last week.
Yeah.
Um,
I just put it on there to cover us in case anybody
Okay.
ends up sitting there.
the fire suppression aspect, will that, will that cause another town meeting?
It could, yeah.
Because of the
Right-
spending of the department?
So, I suggested the architect, because I think it's fairly likely we'll have a town meeting last week of August, or the first week of September. I mean, there's no certainty, but it'd be, if we were, it'd be nice to time the bids for that. The thing is that he feels we may do better waiting later into the fall, into the early winter. And so probably what I would do is, if we're not, it's not a raise and appropriate, so I don't have to worry about the tax rate, but, because we'll be borrowing. But I'll need a meeting to appropriate additional money. And probably what I'll do is, probably what I'll do is have a bid deadline. The board will know that I'm doing this, and I'll say to the board, we'll have the bids come in, and that night, if we think the bids are, if we need more money, the board would have schedule a special town meeting about 3 weeks later, because usually the bids are good for 30 days.
Okay.
And so that would be my plan. And the only challenge, of course, is getting 100 people to show up, especially if it's only a one-item thing.
Okay.
And I need a 2/3 vote because we'll be
Borrowing money. Okay.
All right, I will make the motion to
Oh.
adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks a lot, guys.